We want it yesterday. We want it yesterday. We want it yesterday. We want it yesterday. We don't want it tomorrow. We don't want it next week. We want it yesterday. It's up to you.
Well, that music you hear playing is from a friend of mine, Rick Stratton, and his musical entourage, the Zanti Misfits. It's called I Want It Yesterday. And that applies to a lot of the stuff that makeup artists and effects artists have to contend with. So let's look at some I Want It Yesterday scenarios. Hey face makers, welcome back to the factory. I was out in the shop working, and I thought I would give you guys a little story behind something. One thing I want to do about this channel is not just show you how to do stuff that 900 other people are showing on other channels, but show you something that is for me personally, something that a story that happened to me, or a road I traveled down in my career, and I just want to share it with you. Sometimes it's just, hey, look at this cool thing I made, and here's a life mask, and here's the story behind that life mask. Well, this is kind of not a life mask, but it is a kind of a mask. And the reason I wanted to bring this out is that you might have seen this sitting in the background. This is a death mask for a scene where a woman is discovered in her bedroom being dead for like a week. And she's laying there, with her arms crossed like this. So her hands are exposed, her face is exposed, and she's got worms and maggots crawling out of her nose and mouth. Well, the actress who played the character was Veronica Cartwright. You might remember Veronica way back from Alien. She was one of the women on this spaceship with Sigourney Weaver, the one who freaked out when John Hurt's stomach opened up and all the alien jumped out. But anyway, it was a show called Bosch, and it was kind of like a LA cop detective show. I did the first season of it. The main actor in it was a guy by the name of Titus Wolliver. Now, Titus and I kind of go back to Lost. If you don't know the story on Lost, eventually there was a character called Jacob who was considered the good guy of the story. And then there was another guy who came along later, and I think they called him either the Man in Black or something. And he was like evil personified. I believe we even traced it down in the storyline that he is the entity that turns into the black smoke. If that means nothing to you, go watch Lost. I did 6 years of that crazy show. But anyway, Veronica Cartwright comes in, and she's playing a kind of a nagging mother to this serial killer. So she's just driving him nuts. He's always out killing people and coming home late, and she wants her medicine, or her food's not right, stuff like that. Just kind of bad situation, So at one point, he kills her in bed. I think he does the old smother thing, gives her some medicine or whatever, and covers her up, and he smothers her. But he leaves her laying there holding a rosary with her arms crossed, kind of like in Psycho, where the guy left his mother sitting in the chair and she rotted away in the basement. Well, kind of same deal like that. But anyway, she's been dead for a week. And at one point in the storyline, Bosch and his other partner, detective, go into the house. They've kind of tracked this guy down, but he's not there, but it's the mother's house. So they go into the room, they're walking around, get their flashlights, it's all dark. Then they go into the bedroom, and this odor hits them. And it's like, whoa, and out comes there's flashlights flashing, and these guys, you just know it smells in there. And the flashlights swing around, then you see, laying on the bed, just as we saw her before, as her son had placed her, with her arms. But this week is 2 weeks later, and she's starting to like puff up and rot away, and bugs are coming out of her and everything. Flies are landing on her. So we needed to really get the biggest bang for our buck. And I said, look, you don't want to do a dummy because you can't pose it right. If that dummy is not exactly perfect, you can't say, hey, can you move your arm a little bit this way for a better shot? You needed to use a real person. So we got a stunt double, about her size. It really didn't matter. I just needed a thinner face. So we got a stunt double who had a much thinner face than Veronica. And then I did a life cast of Veronica. All I needed was, this front portion. I didn't need the ears. So I just did a nice, clean, 20-minute boom right in the trailer. And then that way, she didn't have to be even involved in this whole lying there dead with maggots crawling off of your scene. And then I took the stunt woman and sculpted puffy, swollen, dead hands that were appliances, and I made them in some scrape molds, in flat scrape molds, so they were easy to make. They were silicone, so I could really make them soft, and they were gooey looking. They just looked gnarly. I'll pull those out later and show you. And then the face, I just made a mask to go onto the stunt woman. And what I did was, it was a half mold. I'll pull that mold out and maybe we'll run a piece. Might be good to kind of see how that whole deal works. But I thought it'd be kind of cool to show the mask that we used. And I had to make it so she could breathe. So I made it like a regular mask of Veronica. I sculpted it, in Veronica's cast, I poured up a clay copy, and then I re-sculpted it and made it puffy like it was starting to swell from inside. And I back painted it. When I put it into the mold, I brushed all the colors in all the base. So all that bruising and all the, when all the blood starts settling in the face was kind of hand painted behind a very thin layer of a pale flesh. Then, once that kind of base was all painted in, and I just kind of winged it, like marbling with different colors, purples and yellows and some rosy colors, not too much red, even some greens and blues, and I even kind of squiggled some veins in. And this is from underneath. Then I put once that was kind of done, I just mixed up the rest of my silicone, put it in the mold, and then pushed the back piece in, which was the stunt woman's face. On that face, I had a stocking, like a wig cap. I just, put it on the mold itself, ran it down like this. I think I might have stretched this down as far as I could go. And then it ended up being bonded into the mask. Like so. So it's bonded like right around here. So that way the mask has a cap to pull on, and a wig goes over that. So it was a real easy application. It pulled right over the stunt woman. We put the wig on. We spun around. Now the eyes are removable. What I made them like plugs. So here's one right here. And I could unplug the eyes so she could see out. So she could walk to set like this. The nostrils are trimmed out, and the open part of the mouth is trimmed out. But what I did is I took a black gauze, kind of like black screen, very fine screen, and you can't see it. And I with the silicone, glued it on the inside so nothing could penetrate it. So if a bug is crawling out of the nose or the mouth, nothing's going on, and all she has to go is go, and it'd blow them away anyway, because her mouth is lined up perfectly with Veronica's mouth. And of course it doesn't look like Veronica at all. But and then what I did is, after I pulled it out, it was nice. The colors were nice, but it just didn't look. Wasn't disturbing enough on the surface. So I did some very thin brush ups inside the mold again, and I didn't powder them. I very carefully peeled them out, and I kind of stuck them on, so like the skin looked like it's separating, from another layer and starting to slough off. So I did a patch in here, kind of down the side here and up into the neck. It's this is old. This sucker's like years old, so you can't appreciate the realism that I achieved with it, because I took methacellulose and mixed blood and some brown with it, so it looked like that. They call it putrefactive ooze. So it's like seeping out from underneath it, and I put Methacel and KY jelly. So this body looked like it was ready to pop like a whale on the beach. Those whales, get on the beach and people poke it with a stick and boom, whale everywhere and guts and people running around, and it's on YouTube and makes 1 million hits. Otherwise, that's what this lady was ready to look like. So we get to set, we get her there, we lay her in the bed, we get her just right, we get the lights perfect, and then in comes the bug guy. And he's got this big thing of like bugs, and they're like these caterpillars and maggoty looking things, and maggots are too small. We went cinematic with this stuff. And these big old worms, like, boy, she was really getting ripe. So he starts putting them and blopping them all over her face, and we place her hands. Her hands got appliances on them, so let's just say one of these bugs bit her. It's not going to hit anything. It's a big rubber hand, and all I had to do is make the back of them up and kind of tie them in. So it was really cool. I did all the lividity purple on the bottom. It was really a fun makeup. So put her there, take the eyes, boom, and these are just silicone back painted with a little weird foggy pupil that's kind of almost not there, and then I used some little silicone foam in it. So and I KY'd it up and I punched it right in. I said close your eyes, and no hard edges went in. And the thing is, it's standing off of her face about that far. So, and I just positioned the eyes. I took a couple of pictures. I crossed them so they're looking at each other like that. I think some gag shots like that. But and then I took some video talking to her while the bugs are crawling on her. Like, how's that feel? Can you feel anything? No, nothing. I go, blow her out your mouth, and she blows her mouth, and a bunch of bugs come flying out of her mouth. So that was a fun night. So we shot it about 2 or 3 times. And I'm telling you, it was so dang dark. I go, really? Is that it? You're not going to feature all this work I've been busting my butt on in the trailer all week? Because I did this in the makeup trailer. I took the cast. The only thing that I didn't do in the trailer was running the mold. I sculpted it in the trailer. I did the cast. I took the clay to the trailer. Wait, did I do it? No. I sculpted it. No. How did I do that? I did the cast, brought it home, poured the clay, took it back, sculpted it in the trailer. Then, on the day it was time to mold it, I did all the clay up in the trailer, brought it home that night, molded it so the next morning I could go back, open it up, clean it out, and then start prepping the mold for bringing it back home and running it. So it was like boom, 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 boom. So I'm lucky I had a little lab, and it was a really, I did some punching on it. I'm not a great puncher, and I knew it wouldn't be seen that great, but man, it looked really creepy. And I gotta tell you, I don't think you even know if it's in the show. All that work, and it's so quick. If you blink, if the dog barks, and you look over and you look back, you missed it. Anyway, it was cool to do, and like I say, there's a bunch of stuff around here that has a funny story or a neat story behind it. And because of my relationship with actors from different shows, it's really cool to be able to jump off of one show and then get on another show where your actor buddy was, you get to learn and understand them better and know them other than the character they played on your last show versus the one on this show. And Titus is a great guy. He's a real movie nerd. He loves monster movies. He loves paintings. I think he paints too. So he's a really cool guy. And I thought it was really a pleasure to work with an actor, because sometimes you don't see him anymore after one show. So it's nice to work with him twice and run into him once in a while. Maybe you're on a different show and they pop in, they do a day. So it's always great to run into an actor over time. For me, that was enough. I didn't need to be a personal for a long run with someone. I just enjoyed meeting a different spread of people, and it's been a great ride. Anyway, hope you liked the story. It was fun. Gave Veronica a copy of her live cast. I kept the dead one. And we'll talk to you later. Thanks for tuning in at the Facemaker Factory.
We want a yesterday. We want a yesterday. We want a yesterday. We want a yesterday. We don't want it tomorrow. No, we don't want it next week. We want a yesterday. Take it or leave it.
You won't believe what you look like.
I can't wait to see.
Okay.